What up, everybody? Beauty in Black is a large cosmetic corporation owned by the Bellery family, a family who hates each other but is kept together and somewhat in line by a very strict will put together by their dead father/grandfather. The Bellery family consists of the oldest son Horus, his brother Norman, Horus's ex-wife Olivia, and Horus and Olivia's two sons Charles and Roy, as well as Roy's wife, Mallory. The Bellery family's chief of security is named Jules. Jules, Norman, and Roy are all working together cleaning money through a club where the people that work in the club are being trafficked. Three of the people who were trafficked and working at that club were Kimmy and her friends, Rain and Angel. Jules ended up hooking Roy up with Kimmy as someone who he could have an affair with discreetly, only for Kimmy to dial Roy's wife Mallory while they were hooking up, and this led to Mallory being distracted while driving and running over Norman's wife. Norman's wife didn't die immediately, but later died being transported between hospitals after Horus sent somebody to the hospital she was at and turned his wife into a vegetable. However, this was all later pinned on a junkie named Debo. Around this time, Rain was put in the hospital fighting for her life from trying to get a BBL from a fake nurse. Horus, who's dying of cancer, ended up meeting Kimmy and Angel at the club and took a liking to them as he ultimately married Kimmy at the conclusion of season 1 as a way to get revenge on the rest of his family by diluting their shares in the company and making sure his shares didn't go to them when he died. But before this took place, Kimmy had to catch a couple bodies, taking out the two females who were in charge of running the club for Jules, Delinda and Body, for taking her little sister and trying to force her to work in the club to have leverage over Kimmy. In season 2, part 1, there was rumors that Body survived, but at the conclusion of part 1 of season 2, Jules told Kimmy that she was dead. Another key storyline from season 1 is a class action lawsuit that's been filed against the company Beauty in Black, claiming some of their products causes cancer. Season 2 was completely different for Kimmy, Angel, Rain, and Sylvie, as they literally went from rags to riches overnight by Kimmy marrying Horus. But Angel started off season 2 in jail after getting arrested for stealing a car that Kimmy actually stole to get away from one of Jules' men, Officer Blackston. And there was also an old man in the car who ended up dying, who was the stepfather of some rich guy that Horus knew and was also involved with Norman in cleaning the money in the club. So not knowing it was Angel who got arrested to try to take the heat off Kimmy, Horus put a hit on Angel unknowingly. But when Officer Traxon did the hit on Angel at the bus stop, some people fell on Angel and he pretended to be dead. In season 2, after finding out Horus knew about their illegal operation, Jules and Norman decided to make a move against the judge who was helping them traffic their workers because he was a liability because of the fact he ran his mouth. And Norman also knew that he runs his mouth to his wife. So Norman eliminated the judge and his wife by causing an explosion that set their house on fire, making a big scene and taking out a judge, something Jules warned him about. As a result of Kimmy killing Delinda in season 1, Delinda's son is now trying to sell the club, as Norman and Jules had the club in Delinda's name and security wouldn't let him get into Delinda's office. So this is a storyline to keep in mind going into part 2. And with that said, even though Kimmy's friend Rain was delivered from the club, she now wants to replace Delinda and Body in running the club. But Rain also has some problems on her hands, as her and Kimmy's driver Alex went to confront the person who gave Rain the bad BBL that almost killed her, which resulted in Alex catching 3 bodies while letting the young girl who was about to get the BBL free. But when Jules saw what happened and found out it was some of his people who was killed, he already suspected Rain's involvement as well as Alex's, even though Officer Traxton told Jules that Alex won't be involved in something like that. So Jules has Traxton tracking down the girl that Rain let go to get answers. In addition to that, Rain also knocked Jules' son, who works at the Bellery ranch, off a balcony when she caught him hooking up with Sylvie. And now he's unconscious and fighting for his life. Speaking of problems, Charles is also in the middle of some problems right now after one of the dancers from the club tried setting him up to get robbed, only for Charles to catch 3 bodies and have nobody to help him clean it up. So when he was in the bathroom trying to cut up the bodies, Attorney Varney walked in on him, only for minutes later, 3 masked men saying they were cops to storm into Charles's house. One of these guys likely being one of Jules' men who was involved in the robbery, but didn't go in and drove off. He likely at least sent these men into Charles's home. After things didn't work out with Kimmy, Roy went to the club to find his own girl when he met Felicia, and now he wants Jules to bring in Felicia to work at Beauty in Black as his assistant. But what Roy doesn't know is that Felicia is also involved with Officer Traxton. At the corporate meeting at the end of part 1 of season 2, Kimmy shut down advertising that was going to an old radio station and funeral parlor that both Olivia and Norman were using to funnel money to themselves through LLCs. In addition to that, it was revealed that Olivia is having financial problems as she's over $1 million in debt. So that revenue stream, in addition to Kimmy now getting a cut of her money, is only making Olivia's financial problems worse. Something to keep in mind is how Angel was acting at the beginning of season 2, being disrespectful to James the butler, and instead of being grateful for Horus giving him a place to stay and even his own credit card, he told Sylvie it made him mad and that he wants what they have. In addition to that, when Angel saw Mallory for the first time, he bit his lips and said that she was bad. Concerning Mallory in season 1, she was convinced that neither Horus or Olivia knew her true colors. But in season 2, part 1, it was revealed that they both know what she's all about, as Horus told Kimmy that Mallory is ruthless and will play all sides to get what she wants, while Olivia called Mallory out when she was drunk. While Kimmy had her first day at the Beauty in Black offices, Horus was in Italy at a special facility getting treated for his cancer. And the last time he talked to Kimmy, he said he was feeling a lot better. So I think Horus will likely be in remission when he returns to the US in part 2. And the final storyline I have to talk about is at the end of part 1 of season 2, when Kimmy was face to face with Jules in her office. She called Jules' wife to introduce herself and made plans to come over to their house for dinner. Even though we know that will likely be interrupted when Jules finds out about what happened to his son. And when Jules finds out about what happened to his son, he will definitely plan to go scorched earth, especially if his son dies, because when him and Kimmy were face to face, he warned her, do whatever she wants to him, but leave his family out of it. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.